What's up, everybody? Today's the day I talk about the economy, the recession, and ultimately what happens to Weiss Schwarz because of it all. I picked different websites as to not lean one way politics-wise. And in order to have a conversation about the economy, you are going to have to take a look at government habits as the way they spend, environmental policies, and all that good stuff. I'm going to try not to touch on the majority of that stuff and simply just keep it focused on what's going to happen to the economy and Weiss Schwarz. I don't want to see any comments about politics or anything like that, okay? That's not what this is all about. Recession may be around the corner. Don't panic. This is from CNN Business. What I wanted to do with this article is just get a definition of what a recession is. So first, the textbook definition. A recession is a prolonged period of economic decline beginning when the economy peaks and ending when it bottoms out. Recessions are typically marked by an economy shrinking in back-to-back quarters. So the funny part about all of that is, an economist comes down the line and says, oh, by the way, we're in recession, and the rest of us normal people go, yo, we already knew that. We're paying a crap load more for gas, food, shipping stuff, housing, all that good stuff. We all know that right now, even if they don't come a few months later from now and call it a recession, in the end, that doesn't change the fact that for months we've been actually experiencing signs of it, that we've been paying more money, right? If you look in your wallet, do you have the typical amount of money that you would have had 2 years ago when gas wasn't so high, when food wasn't so high? No, probably not. So do I need some guy telling me, or some lady or some economist coming down the line telling me that we're in a recession? No, I don't. All I know is we got less money. So Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell came out. This was an article on June 22nd, so this is on ABC News. He came out and said the Fed's primary goal is to reduce inflation, but it still has hopes to achieve a soft landing, a reduction in inflation, and a slowdown in growth without triggering a recession and high unemployment. So again, for the most of us that are out here, does it feel like we're in a recession already? We have a lower amount of money. I know that's due to what we're describing as inflation, but it seems like with everything happening, with prices going up, with stocks going down and all of that. And what's this about unemployment? So we have some tech companies ramp up layoffs, hiring freezes as possible recession looms. The time is right for Wall Street layoffs as recession looms. So you could go on and on. Oh, here's a great one. Massive layoffs hit one of top U.S. aluminum plants, halting operations. So if you didn't have enough aluminum, if the price of aluminum wasn't high enough, we're also going to be hit with massive layoffs. So that's not going to help us at all. And I know the government tried to pin this one on the Putin war with Ukraine. So this is Jerome Powell again. This is that same very meeting. This is from the New York Post. And down here, it says, Jerome Powell answered a question. It says, no, inflation was high before. Certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out. The reason why I'm putting this in here is to show you the fact that even if, let's say tomorrow something happens and Russia and Ukraine stops fighting, it's not like everything's just going to go back to normal before what's described as the high inflation. So I just want to point this out, that we're still going to be in the mess that we're still in, because more than likely the Ukraine war with Russia and Ukraine fighting each other, yeah, it did help increase prices even more, but that wasn't actually the primary cause of it, right? It was going up before then. So this inflation, this recession, it's going to be more prolonged than anybody would hope for. Hopefully the Ukraine and Russia thing eventually calms down and just ends, peacefully, whatever that looks like in the end. And at least we could take care of, that's one problem solved. But at this point, that doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon, and the causes of our original inflation, that isn't solved as well. If you think gas prices going down anytime soon, this was actually from today. This is French President Emmanuel Macron. He was talking to Biden at the G7 summit. So this is actually Monday. So not today, Monday. And what he said was, and then he said, the Saudis can increase by 150,000 barrels per day, maybe a little bit more, but they don't have huge capacities before 6 months' time, the French president reportedly added. So what was going to happen is at the G7, Biden was going to meet with Saudi Arabia to see if they can get us more oil, right? And it seems like they can only increase by 150,000, which pretty much tells you that we're kind of screwed. Like if you were thinking that we were gonna he was gonna negotiate, Biden was gonna negotiate more oil for us, that is not going to be the case. 150,000 isn't going to do it. So if you think there was going to be some relief anytime soon, like a huge relief from where we're at, that's not going to happen. And like you said, 6 months time, that's gonna be a while from now. So given that we're still going to have high energy costs. The stock market is pretty far down. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, as you can see, pretty far down. It's dropped since its high. CPI, Consumer Price Index, is a measure of the average change over time in prices paid by urban consumers for a market basket of consumer goods and services. As you can see here, 12-month percentage change. As you can see, we have energy 34.6 up. We have food 10.1. All items 8.6, and all items less food and energy is 6%. So again, you didn't have to see this chart to know that it's costing you more for everything. Like across the board, everything's more expensive. I can't think of one thing that's actually cheaper out there, right? Again, shipping here. We have USPS going up. I mean, I don't know how many people sent a letter recently, but you definitely send the package, and the package costs more. DHL prices went up, and even this, I'm going to show you the Bushiroad Global Online Store. Voice actor card collection. I knew when I looked at it, when they put up the Raise the Squeal and stuff, I'm like, that price seems wrong. So just to go back in time here, we had the Ayasa Ito, and we also had the Ito Rose one as well. They were at $70, and we have Amani here for $70. And then when you take a look at this, Ito Rose number 2, $78 for a box of cards. And now you have Raise the Squeal for $90. The binder was $65. Raise the Squeal's binder is $75. If anybody's ever ordered off the Bushiroad Global Online Store, you know the shipping is super expensive. It is not one of the cheapest things around. It is pretty expensive. So now coming back to all of that, what I want to say is Weiss Schwarz. When I think about Weiss Schwarz, what is that going to do? I think what's going to happen is it's going to be okay. First off, I think it's going to be fine. The reason I think it's going to be fine is because of this. You don't need a chart. You don't need to see this research. I just typed it in on the internet about anime, people's interest in it and all that. And here was something that popped up, Grandview Research. I've never looked into them, but we know inherently, anybody that's been watching anime for a long time, you know there's a lot more interest in it. Manga, there's a lot more interest in it. Even movies that come over, anime movies that end up in the theater, they're making big waves, right? Like it's from where we started way many years ago in anime and manga to currently now. You can imagine like the chart goes up like this, the amount of interest. And here's this research here that says it's up. You can see, and there's the prediction of where it's going to be based on everything that happened. COVID-19 had a significant impact on the market. We could tell that even just with Weiss Schwarz, right? Weiss Schwarz definitely went up. There's a lot of people that I would say maybe weren't interested in anime or didn't know about it as much during the COVID-19 thing and then started watching it. You're at home, you ran out of things to take a look at. You started watching anime. It's not so bad. It's not just cartoons for adults. It's actually pretty good. There's different genres of all this stuff. I will say how I conclude that Weiss Schwarz is going to be okay is because you're still going to have those people that are interested in anime. It's definitely going to dip. I've definitely seen prices go down. We're going to have people weeded out because they're going to have less money, right? A lot of the people that bought this, I'm not going to say a lot. There's definitely people that came into this game from other collectible card games or just had more income because of the stock market, because of cryptocurrency. They came in. But as we saw right here, the stock market's going down. Cryptocurrency is going down, and they're going to have less money to buy. The certain sets that have come out recently and the added interest definitely is going to make people leave the actual game, as in I say the investor type people, the people that are only in this for money to flip, just to sell packs, rip it open and sell it. It's going to have a lot of people leaving, but at the same time, we've definitely picked up. So are we going to go back to pre-COVID? No, we're not going to do that because we picked up some people along the way, right? Anybody that actually has locals will tell you that there's been a pickup of newer people just because of Hololive coming out. You'll definitely start losing these people that, tried to just buy boxes of stuff for serial chases to sell. Invest in, you're going to lose those kind of people. So you have, even with Hololive, there's going to be people that bought tons of stuff that are going to drop out because they got sealed, because they got the signed cards, because they were thinking they could just flip it. But again, if everybody has that mindset, it's going to be hard to actually do. I made a video called flipping isn't easy, something like that, about how to actually sell Weiss Schwarz products. And I told you in there that it's going to be a lot harder when more people are interested. Like, it may seem like these cards are really expensive, but when the interest level isn't as high as other games, when you have a small buyer's market, it's going to be really hard to just turn this. Yeah, in theory, these have a lot of value, but at the same time, if there's a lot of people, 3 times the amount of supply than actual buyers, you're going to have a hard time selling it. So I think, in a way, I don't want it to make it sound like I'm rooting for people to lose money or something or anything like that. I don't want you to get that thought. I never want to see anybody lose money. That's partially why I do those buy and invest videos, and I tell you it's a long-term, not a short-term kind of thing, is the people that get weeded out, it's going to be healthier for this game because there's going to be less supply. Weiss Schwarz is always good because of the beauty of the cards, the sign cards, and also the limited supply. With all these people coming in, there's a mountain of supply. It also didn't help that what I believe to be retailers or distributors holding back product and then eventually bringing it out when the price was high. Again, that is my belief on what was actually happening in this case, and that's why a reprint never actually happened on Mushoku Tensei. More products that will weed out other people is Bang Dream Girls Brand Party. If you haven't noticed, this thing is $44.44, which is actually pretty low. And if you're looking to get it, pretty nice. So you should see the single cards. It's interesting. Date a Bullet Extra Booster, doing pretty well, $37. Look how much is left. But at the same time, this surprise set was such a freaking disaster with the actual release and all that. $11.39. It is awful. Like, I mean, just think about it. You get a dex box, sleeves, a promo card, deck separators. I mean, if you're interested in this, pretty awesome price. If you didn't need any of that, it's definitely a pass. And Beaufrey, this is $199.98. Why I brought this one up is because it's an older product. Some people find the deck pretty fun to play with, anti-meta. So, but what I'm showing you here is there is a sale for $249, $250, and $180. So what I am going to think I see is what I see with other card games. Like, I remember before when people were rotating to, and I use the word rotate very purposely, when people rotated from Magic the Gathering, because there was a bit of time there during the pandemic when Magic the Gathering went down, Pokemon went up, Flesh and Blood went up. Like, people are rotating out of Magic the Gathering. They were just dumping their stuff and getting into that. And I remember a lot of the post was like, I have bills to pay and I need to sell this stuff. I remember there was one guy that said he needed to sell his stuff because he had to pay bills, but then he went on the Flesh and Blood group and he was like trying to buy boxes and cards. And I would imagine we will see that more and more on the Weiss Schwarz one as the economy gets worse and worse, or when people start running out of money. And again, there are people that actually have bills that come up. I'm literally talking about the people that you can just tell are interested only in the money. They have really no care for the game. That's the people I'm talking about that want to do that. I mean, other people I've seen legit reasons they had something come up and they need to actually sell. But you know, those are people that have been here for years, players and all of that stuff. So those people pretty solid, and it's just unfortunate they have to actually sell their cards for whatever reason, right? But I imagine more of the investor type people, the people that don't care, are going to have more of those posts start popping up. And also, by the way, Nazarick, again, I've talked about this before, but we've had Nazarick Tomb of the Undead on a pre-order, I don't know, sometime last year, and it still hasn't come out yet. And I can't imagine what's going to happen when, if that thing doesn't come out and stores actually go bankrupt at some point, you know, like with all these different releases, and if they bet the farm on like any of these things right here, right? Like you bet the farm on all these things and you can't actually sell it, and now they owe credit cards and all that stuff. That's going to be very, very bad. And I can't imagine if you paid for Nazarick at this point and you still haven't gotten, there is no way. I can't imagine you actually trying to get that money back, right? There's no way with your credit card. The month's definitely gone. There's no way you can do a chargeback, maybe PayPal, but even then, I think a pre-order. I've heard people say pre-orders with PayPal doesn't actually work as well. I don't know. I don't get myself in those situations. When I do not see a date actually attached to the release, I am not buying that or pre-ordering it. And if I do pre-order it, I make sure I can trust those people. And even then, if they have a deposit versus actually full down payment, I will rather do that. And there is no store out there that should be taking your money that ahead of time, especially when they don't even know when it's coming out. So I think that you need to avoid. That's why I don't do those buy and invest videos too far ahead of time. I don't even think a lot of the time I even necessarily need to do some of that, just because look after the release. This is 32 listings, $59. I could just do it at any point. I know people like getting in on pre-orders and all that, especially for something that's going to be amazing. I think amazing. So you have like, what do we have? We have Tokyo Revengers, should be good. Definitely a nice set. Definitely, it's not the best in the meta, right? Like Quince is going to be amazing. So if you haven't bought Quince and you want to play meta, do the meta and all that, they're obviously going to print a million of this stuff. They freaking reprinted Quintessential Quintuplets, so there's going to be a lot of supply for that. Overall, long time, it's going to be long term going to be amazing. Attack on Titan as well. We talked about before with these two sets, Saekano and Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl. See, those are one of those ones where Weiss Schwarz, with all the like the investor type people dropping out, lower supply, better in the long run. These things, even though they don't have signatures on it, it'll be better in the long run. Not going to be better than some of the stuff that actually has signatures, but still going to be better because people are going to avoid the set. This is coming out, I would imagine, in the heat of the recession, October. So maybe people can't actually pre-order it. So the pre-order number is going to be down. Not only do they not have signatures, but at the same time, the economy the way it is, I would imagine this would be less. So overall, Weiss Schwarz should be fine. I don't think it's going to, anything horrible is going to happen. We should still be good. Same thing with the other TCGs. It's just, they're going to come down. The price is going to come down for a lot of these actual sealed product. And in terms of Weiss Schwarz, we'll have signatures come down, right? Like, who wants this Roxy right now? I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean like who wants this one for $1,400 when you could get other things at this point. $1,400 might have seemed okay a year ago when we didn't have this looming recession coming, but now that you have to worry about paying gas, paying food, paying housing, all that stuff going up, do you want to buy $1,400? I mean, I'll tell you a secret. I don't buy cards above, what would be a good one? I don't buy above a case. I don't buy above a card that is priced above a case, because at that point, I would rather just buy a case and get my 2 or 3 signature cards for a different set than have this one. That is not worth a good trade-off for me, right? Like if I had the choice between this card, actually, how much would this be? This would be a case and almost, it would be a case and like half a case of booster boxes and half of trial decks. You know, that sounds like a better sort of investment or collection wise than getting one card. And I know people disagree with me on this whole time. People always thought of me as like this collector, investor type thing, and I will say I am. But at the same time, everybody has a different idea about what collections actually are. I'm that guy that I want the most bang for my buck, and my collection to be as great as it is without like just destroying my entire budget. Because I want all of this, right? Like I want to buy a piece of everything here, like this entire screen and this next screen. Even though I hate Camelot, do I actually want to own it? Yeah, I do. I want to have a little bit of it. I might hate the product. There's no signatures on it. It's not the best of anime to me, but I still want to own a little bit of it because that makes the most sense. Am I going to blow the whole budget buying this $1,400 one? No, that's not what I'm going to do. That seems just insane to me. I'd rather buy a case of this and then a case of this and a case of this than do that. I think part of owning a collection for me is having, like, let's say a couple cards. If I can get them all, great. But if not, you know what? More for the future. Like, it's one of those ones where, what happens when you're done collecting this entire set? Let's say I wanted Mushoku Tensei, and I wanted it all. I wanted to buy literally every one of every actual card. What happens after that? Your collection's over. There's no wanting. I think the thrill is like going back years from like when I'm older, going back and then opening all the product myself and be like, yo, I got this card, or then just trying to hunt this card down. It may seem silly, it may cost more, but in the end, it's to give me that kind of nostalgic feeling. If I own it all, yeah, I guess I have it, but it doesn't give me that same kind of fun. And that's what happened with people with Pokemon, right? They went, when this big boom happened, they went back to their old collections. They're like, oh my god, I got this Charizard, or oh my god, I really wish I would have got that Squirtle. And you know what they did? They went and bought it. They went and bought it because they had more disposable income, and because, you know what, it reminded them of a good time. I want to have that feeling. So to me, just tearing open a bunch of boxes and all that, or just buying this card for $1,400 doesn't give me that same satisfaction. I'd rather do it myself. So that's where I am as an actual collector. I want to actually own this stuff, but I want to do it as efficiently as possible and maximize my fun doing it. So I just think it's crazy that anybody buys a card for over $1,000. I'm not dissing you if that's what you want to do. Everybody has their own thing. Even though I'm not like I'm not that guy on PlayStation that wants the gold every game. There probably is somebody out there that does want to collect all these, and I respect that, right? Like, we all have different goals in the end, and for me, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to go down that path. So finally, at the end, again, I don't see any problems with Weiss Schwarz. It's going to be fine. We're gonna have people drop out, but there's plenty of people still around, and anime is only going to get more popular as we go along. So people are going to go back and try to find certain sets again, right? They're going to want to find Data Live. Anybody see Data Live? Yo, that ending was so good. If you're still here, Data Live Season 5 formally announced. So I'm pretty excited about that. Anyways, so you see, Weiss Schwarz, I have no concern about it at all. I'm going to do my normal thing. I have no issues because I have a budget. So this is my second channel. I don't do anything with it. I threw these budget videos out here. There's an actual Excel in there as well. So here is a sample of the Excel of what I created. And as you can see here, this is what a budget kind of looks like. These are all fake numbers over here on the left. I would not use real numbers because that would be bad. I don't want to show people my stuff. But you can see, obviously, you need to make a budget if you don't have a budget. Like I said, I have no worries about what I'm going to do in the future. You know, I paid off my house. I have zero debt now. So when it comes to Recession and me and TCG cards, uh, there's no difference. I'm going to still keep collecting and buying as I have been, just because I put myself in a position where I have purchased food, I've purchased my house, I've pretty secure in my job that there should be no worry, and that's the whole point. I want people. That's why I always say what I do at the end of the video, is because I want you to think about how much you really should be spending and not go overboard, because crazy crap happens and we're about to feel it. If you don't feel it yet, you're gonna I think everybody should be affected by the recession unless you're omega rich. And I don't know anybody like that. So, but if there is somebody out there like that, I will take your money. If you want to give me some, that'd be pretty cool. That would be nice. It's got to be amazing to be rich. When I sit there and have a day off, I'm like, man, this doesn't seem nice. You just wake up, eat some eggs and bacon, and you don't have to do anything. The ability not to do anything has got to be remarkable. Even though rich people say it's boring, I'll never understand that, and they're unhappy. But I think as a person that's worked for a while now, I would love to have that rich experience at one point. Hopefully one day. But anyways, you need to make a budget. If you haven't made a budget, please make sure to do that. That's all I'm going to say about that. You need to do that. If you need help with recession, CNN got you. I saw that at the bottom of that article, that first article that I had on here. Lock in a new job now before unemployment happens. This was back on April 28th, so you might have missed the boat on that locking in a new job now. You might want to do it quickly if you're searching for a job. Cash in on the housing boom. Well, yeah, I mean, that might be coming to an end soon. Cover your near-term cash needs. Don't trade on the headlines. Oh, geez. Review your risk tolerance. Rebalance your portfolio. Make new investments slowly. Stay cool. Do your best. Then let go. I didn't read this part. I don't know what the let go part is. I'll read that after the fact. After I turn off this video, I kind of want to know what that means. 401k. I would love to tell you what I do with my 401k. Maybe another day. I had a strategy going in with my 401k just because I knew recession was coming. And this goes back to the whole politics thing. Again, I try to stay away from politics just because it leads to people all arguing and stuff, and I don't want to deal with that. But I think the big problem when it comes to at least America, right? I'm not going to talk about any other countries because I live in America. I don't know what's happening in other, truly happening in other countries, is the fact that we can't have a conversation with each other without people like freaking out on each other, like on both sides. I'm talking both sides, right? Like the reason why I put these articles here from both sides is just to show you that there are things missing from both sides of the articles. I knew about COVID-19 way back before America knew it was happening, because I read different kinds of news. I get my news from different places. I try to do what I describe as like a 360 kind of news things, where I will watch both sides, both sides, or even just international news to get a full picture of what's actually happening in the world. Because you can't just trust one news source. You can't even trust two. You have to go to like basically 3 different news sources to actually find it from all different angles to actually get it. So I knew way ahead of time about coronavirus. I told all my coworkers, I told my workers, like my family, that, hey, by the way, you need to prepare for this. And some people thought I was nuts, but in the end, I was right. With this recession, same thing. I knew about this coming last year. I was already making preparations for recession as of last year. And that is one of the other reasons I paid off my house the way I did, because I knew this was coming. I didn't want to have a mortgage looming over my head in case anything were to happen, like layoffs or something like that. I don't want that at all. I am very comfortable at this point with having no debt, having all the food that I should be able to eat. If the world goes to heck, then at least I'm not going to starve to death, at the very least. I mean, I could still die, but at the very least, I don't have to worry about that. And I think everybody should get to that point. I think everybody should see different news sources just to see what's going on. Knowledge is power. 100% knowledge is power. And because of that knowledge, I was able to move money out of my 401k not move money, but I moved it around. Right here, like where they said rebalance your portfolio. That's what I did. I moved it. I sold it and put it into a what do you call it? Like a stable value kind of thing, which is basically like a cash account. And what I do with that thing is every now and then when the stock market drops, I start pumping it back in. And with this whole recession thing, I moved a bunch of it into that stable. And I'm just going to wait a little bit. I'm going to wait for it to drop and then add a little, add a little, add a little. That was literally what I did when COVID happened. I made so much money off of that, just moving it over into there and then just slowly adding it. So when COVID happened and the stock market rebounded, it was like, boom, made tons of money. So that's how it is. So I would say, like, definitely if you're one of those people that get lost in the politics, you're one side or the other, try to get your news sources from multiple places, see different perspectives on it. It's what I've always tried to talk about on this channel, right? Like those perspective videos. I never understood why people were so upset just hearing one side, you know, and not letting them say what they wanted to say. It was just, it never made sense to me. And hopefully we get around that as a nation. I think overall as a people, we gotta be okay listening to the other side. You may not agree with them in the end, but this is how you find out about recessions. This is how you find out about different information and like what's truly happening, to spare yourself from this looming recession, because they're telling me not to panic. In the end, I'm not panicking, not because of them, but because of the choices I made based on all the news that I get. So in the end, there we are. There you go. So this is probably more than what you wanted for people that asked me about the economy and trading cards, but hopefully this helps you out. Again, if you haven't made a budget, use this, ask me if you need any help with it, but that should get you on your way. Okay. As always, have fun, be happy, and don't spend anything outside of your budget. Have a good day.